The first of the latest inflation figures out today from the ABS, the Bureau of Statistics. Australia's inflation rate has eased sharply in October on the back of weakening consumer spending. This month, it was 4.9%. Last month, 5.6%. And this, of course, makes it less likely, we're told, that the Reserve Bank will hike rates again on Tuesday. But that's not a universal view. Some say Michele Bullock thinks that households can cope with more pain. But it's not all good news for the government. Real household disposable income, well, that's down. Real per capita household income is also down. Australia's had the largest income collapse in the world. And this is on top of a failed referendum, the introduction of economy-wrecking IR laws, and all the border stuff you've heard me talk about. So let's hope there's a bright light for the economy for us here at home and taxpayers who pay the bills. Joining me now, Shadow Treasurer Angus Taylor. Well, do we see these inflation numbers out today as a bright light for you, Angus? Is it good news?
Well, I don't think Australians see it that way, Peta, because what they're actually seeing is prices just continue to go up. Inflation is prices going up, and inflation is roughly double what the target is. And economists, of course, look at core inflation, or trim mean inflation, as it's called, and that went from 5.4 to 5.3, hardly a significant reduction, but the government wants to be congratulated for that. Well, the truth is the government's asleep at the wheel on this. They haven't been focused on this as the main game. They've been running their $450 million failed referendum, and the result is we have inflation which is entrenched, the most entrenched in the advanced world, according to The Economist. And as you rightly pointed out, household disposable incomes have fallen more than any other advanced country in the world, 5.1% in a year. And that's a dramatic reduction in the standard of living of Australians. There is much government can do to alleviate this, to stop it from happening in the first place. Fighting inflation is the key, and this government's failing.
I listened to those reports that Michele Bullock, the new RBA Governor, had said that Australian households, despite this pain, those with a mortgage at least, are in a pretty good position, she said. Lots of political noise around. She said, don't look at that. Look at the fact that, they're resilient and they can keep taking this sort of pain if we can't get inflation under control. That worried me. I then saw the CPI and thought, well, there's a bit of hope there. We might not get a rate hike next Tuesday. But what do you think?
Well, I don't run a running commentary on what Reserve Bank governors say, but bankers are a bit inclined to say everything is okay if people aren't defaulting. Australians know that there's a lot of pain before they default on a loan. I mean, Australians are very disinclined to default on loans. They want to pay them back, and they will make all sorts of sacrifices along the way, whether it's taking on an extra job, not buying something that they would otherwise buy. We know that they're digging deep into discretionary items. They're digging deep into their savings as well right now for many Australian households. So there is a lot of pain out there. I was at a food bank in Queensland in Brisbane just last week, and they're seeing triple the number of people coming through that they were seeing a year ago. And indeed, they're seeing people who they would never have seen before. So there is a lot of pain out there, regardless of what central bankers like to say.